So it's finally time. After all the years in build-up, all the injuries and setbacks, it's time to do honor to the number one. What a ride. On today's Tough Like the Toonz, I make you super. Just saying. Yo dudes and dudettes, your friendly neighborhood Jaxblade is here, and today we are finally doing the Goku Tough Like Toonz. And this is crazy to me that after all these years, I'm finally doing the Goku Tough Like Toonz. For those of you who don't know, who are new here, Goku's been my #1 inspiration ever since I was a chubby anime fanboy who used to get beaten up and bullied for liking all these nerdy things and being told I could never be like these characters. And I would come home just crying, just like with all these bruises and stuff like that. And I would watch on Toonami the Goku just like train and get stronger and then just be like such a badass but so kind and so humble and just like help all these people out, and if his friends need him he would just do it. And it inspired me so much that he was the reason I started training and the reason that I started just working to be better for myself. So this is a big deal for me and I'm happy to share it with y'all. Ironic that I'm doing a Goku Tough Like the Toonz, but I got my fresh cut, but it was just because my hair was just getting so freaking annoying to deal with every morning. So I'm happy to be back to my old Jack self. And yes, Superhero Dub Goku was my favorite Goku, my main inspiration for getting in shape. And if I didn't have Superhero Dub Goku, I probably wouldn't be in shape. And I know it's not true to his character at all. I completely understand and I realize that, all right? It's still special to me, the Ally to Good, Nightmare to You one. And I do love the OG manga Goku as well, because I know some people get all shady, but I will take both those Gokus any day. I love both of them way over the Dragon Ball Super manga Goku with all the BS they've been doing with that. So yeah, I love these Gokus, and this one will always be a special workout to me. So that's why I did it a bit differently. Now, for those of you who've been following me for a long time, you know that I've been a personal trainer, like certified personal trainer and strength coach for like damn near over a decade now. I've been like just in love with health and fitness stuff. So when I designed Tough Like the Toonz, I just pretty much mixed together my personal training brain and the character and stuff like that, and then I'm able to make like this beautiful playlist you can go check out after this. But also I do it just in a sense of just like, oh, this would be very fitting for this character. But for this one, because I want to make it special, I actually did the entire thing for a month and I documented it, as you'll see today. And yeah, it was tiring AF. And the way I'm splitting this up is because, you know, Goku had different training things. So for example, this month will be primarily focused on conditioning, because something about Goku's training that not a lot of other Goku workouts do, and this is not this or shade to any of them at all, is Goku's workout is not primarily about muscle building. It's not. Like, he looks like a freaking phenomenal bodybuilder, but his program, like if you ever watch like all of Goku's training scenes, they're not about just being a bodybuilder and muscle building and stuff like that. Muscle building is a byproduct of his training, but the majority of his training is very high muscular endurance and cardiovascular endurance. So that's what this first month was primarily based on, and like how Goku was able to just get accumulation of it and how he has able to have so much insane stamina for what he's able to accomplish. And I actually cover that in depth in my why anime characters train with high repsing, because it primarily helps them like with like fighting, and I go super in depth talking about the anatomy and physiology of like their training and why they always do that sort of thing, even besides the fact that it just looks cool and it's a cartoon. Duh. You can watch that after this. But another thing I want to talk about with this is just like I want to make a couple rules for myself, because this is another like little tidbit with what I'm doing today. So I always talk about my body and like how you should accept yourself and like, you know, just be the best you for you. As a matter of fact, like watch these two videos, like one on my mental health, where I talk about like just mental health stuff I've been gone through, like talk about my injuries and how I developed them just from like overcompensating from insecurities and stuff like that. And I also talked about how in another video, like, you know, how you pick the body for yourself and you do what you want for yourself, because outside validation doesn't matter. You should do what you want for you, because you'll always have yourself. And a truth about myself that I know is like, I'm not the biggest guy around and I don't try to pretend to be. And I'm not like, you know, the most aesthetic guy around, and I don't try to pretend to be. Like, I have some nice muscles for my size, and I'm able to like punch hard. I can run 5 miles without stopping. I can swim laps on end. I have a shit ton of stamina and endurance and muscular endurance as well. I can do like a lot of pull-ups like on boss, and I'm very conditioned, and my body, you know, it's pretty tight. It's pretty good body. This is how I look right now. And what I wanted to do with this program was to see how it affects my physique as well. So it'll actually be a transformation for myself to see like the little things that happen, because like they've been happening since I started doing this program, and it's just like a cool thing. I just want to like monitor how I look at the beginning and how I look at the end of it, because I always thought that was cool. But what I want to do, which would add on to that, is I gave myself a little challenge with this program as well, is I wanted to be as authentic to Goku as possible. What are those? So there were certain things where I felt sad because I was like, oh damn, Goku doesn't really do that sort of exercise. Like for instance, there are a ton of bodybuilding exercises that I love that I know would get you the physique like Goku. It would just get you like a physique. Like that's honest truth right there. If like you find a solid bodybuilding routine and you just want the look of Goku, that'll actually help you build that Goku. Like that's why like I have a ton of friends, like literally 30 friends right now who look like freaking Goku, jacked as fuck. But then like depending on them, because they're just bodybuilders, they don't do stuff for conditioning and other stuff. If we go for a run, they may not be able to have the conditioning keep up. If we go you know, like sparring or do other stuff like that, then it's just like, oh, they don't have the gas to keep up because they look like it, but they don't necessarily have the body to go for it. So I want to make this as functional as possible and also see if it gives like the byproducts of nice aesthetics as well. So like there are certain exercises I miss out on because like I just tried to be as authentic with certain things of Goku doing, because there are certain exercises he doesn't do. Like you don't see Goku bench pressing, all right? So it's just like, oh man, I really love incline dumbbell press, so I can't do that all the time now. And then like you don't see Goku doing like deadlifts and other stuff like that. You see him doing squats and other stuff, but like there's a bunch of bodybuilding exercises where I was just like, oh man, I can't do that. So it pretty much turned into a very high rep calisthenic routine, which was very tiring, which just made it like burn even more. So I sort of felt like, you know, old school Herschel Walker and Mike Tyson and Bo Jackson in a sense, because their routines are very high rep calisthenics and they were able to just turn to beast from it. And it was incredibly challenging and tiring, but it was so worth it in the end. I found from this month one that I finished. Another thing, because this is such like high rep calisthenics, I incorporated some exercises I know for a fact Goku didn't do just for my safety. Like for instance, I did a bunch of like, you know, shoulder mobility exercises and dumbbell wrist curls and reverse wrist curls, and you know, just like using my isolation bar to help with my shoulder stability, making sure, because like as I mentioned many times before on this channel, I've had a ton of injuries that just came from ego-based stuff that I was just trying to get through, and I don't want that to happen again. I want to come out of this stronger and healthier. I don't want to come out of this as a person who has body issues from it, like, oh, this actually did more body destroying than body helping when I was doing it. And after month one, besides like a tender wrist that my dog gave me when we were playing outside, I'm pretty good. Like everything through this month, like it was very challenging, and there was never a moment where I was just like, oh crap, I hurt my shoulder, oh crap, I hurt my knee, oh crap, I did that, because I took my time and built up on everything. And that's what I encourage you to do today, because today's workout is not based on rep schemes like certain ones. Like it's not like a set rep scheme thing where you go, oh, 4 sets of this many reps. Today, I want to make it as legit as Goku as possible. So instead of doing sets and reps, what I did was I incorporated just like the Rock Lee method of I'm going to put a pretty high number of repetitions to see if I can accomplish them, because Goku was always like, oh, 10,000 push-ups, oh, 10,000 squats, oh, let me do this right here. So that's what I did for this. So it was pretty much a set rep scheme in a way, but not necessarily like I'm taking rest breaks. It's just like I'm just gonna keep going until I get this done, no matter how long it takes. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna try and do 200 push-ups with this form that I'm doing right here. And then there were certain like altercations that I did, as you'll see when we're doing this video. So let me walk you through the routine that I pretty much did all month. So the first day I actually started off with a conditioning workout, which was pretty much just a very cardio heavy based day, because the thing about Goku back then is like he did like a lot of running around and doing this stuff. So for this, I adapted the Master Roshi Turtle Hermit like morning jog routine. After a couple weeks of doing this skipping thing, it's starting to feel easier and my knees don't hurt as much. Still very tiring. Ooh, still very tiring. And I'm about to do my zigzags. So right now, finishing up my skips, and what I'm gonna do is zigzag. And it's pretty good for me because I have all these trees. So all I'm doing is jogging and zigzagging. That means I'm just cutting between trees. So let me tell you, that like freaking cardio routine, that after like a couple weeks was just so tiring because you add on to it. Like when I was doing the routine, you add on like, oh, can I go a bit further? Maybe I'll do 4 miles today. Like skipping a mile is just like, you know, big deal. Like it was, the first day was pretty easy. It was later on throughout the week, like after doing it numerous times, I had to like watch myself because like I did start noticing like, oh, my knees are buckling a bit. So I had to like tone it down a little bit. And when I toned it down a little bit, I was able to keep progressing instead of like hurting myself. Because before, what I would do, this is a horrible mistake I would do, is just like I would just keep going faster and faster with it instead of just like letting my body naturally build up a custom. And that is why I was like getting injured so bad, was I was just trying to push through and go too fast. Like that was my problem. I was always just like go too fast at adapting, when it's just like, no, let the body build up. And even Goku mentions that countless times. You got to let your body build up gradually doing things. And so this conditioning workout for like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday was just very tiring each day when I was doing it. Now the next conditioning exercise I did, I was pretty much focusing on the Korin aspect of training. You remember when Goku climbed Korin Tower and then he had to catch Korin to get the sacred water, and then later on he has to catch like Bubbles the monkey on King Kai's planet? So I pretty much just used my best buddy here.
See, the fun part about this training is he's super excited too, aren't you, buddy? Because I've just been running with him so much more. Like, he is mega excited to just go do this little catch Korin training. He'll soon be. This is my Korin Bubbles dog right here that I get to chase. Yeah, we're going. So I get excited because I get to do my cardio with my buddy. So, all right, let's go.
I'll tell you this much, like, so I did this sort of training because this whole month is based on conditioning, so it wasn't just like I was like, oh god, you're zapping all your gains away, even though if you're eating enough, that's not gonna happen. It was pretty much just like so tiring because I would do that in the morning, and then I did that 5 days a week because I walk my dog like 5 days a week. So I would just do that for about 20 minutes in the afternoon, like try to catch him, just like throw the ball around, try to catch him. And my god, like that is so much fun and tiring, but it's just like, oh, you start sweating like crazy, and then you start to understand why Goku eats so freaking much. Another thing that we're doing in this training routine on the conditioning day was, you know, martial arts training, because Goku is all about martial arts or combat training. And for me, I primarily like boxing, so I had to cheat a bit with this one because like, honestly, I would just say, you know, if you have the chance, spar, but you can't spar because we're in quarantine or should be in quarantine, and I'm not leaving the house besides I get my haircut and stuff like that, and I just don't know if you could have it and do it because a lot of friends are getting effed over by this damn disease. So I just pretty much had to cheat and use my Ryan Garcia like reflex bag, which I think they're just called Cobra bags or something like that. You know, you see Ryan Garcia use, and then you also see Canelo Alvarez use, and I saw like this whole video of him using it and then like getting like insane reflexes. So that's what I started practicing with. And honestly, like this was something that was very challenging for me because I never used reflexes bags before. So like for me, when I was doing these, like you see here, like it was just like I had to get into a rhythm of it because like I'm so used to just like, you know, being in the ring or going at someone like that, or just punching a standard bag or punching like a bob bag or something like that. So this was like a fun experience and just like a more challenging experience to get down because, you know, Goku's always dodging. You gotta be able to dodge all these attacks and stuff like that. So I thought it was a pretty cool thing, though I will admit it was cheating in a sense because like it would have been more fun to fight someone, but whatever. I gotta digress, and you know, that's what it is.
Here we have isometric kamehamehas, and I've been incorporating this through the workout, and I guess I never explained it when I was doing it. I would just randomly just do it just because, you know, Goku training. But this is what you want to do. So all you do, get your hands to the kamehameha position. This is going to be an isometric exercise. It's just going to feel great. And what I want you to do is like tense your fingers as hard as possible, like tense, like you're trying to build up ki right here, all right? So it's like, and pulse your legs. Pulse your legs. And do that for 10 seconds, and then 5. And so like, just keep doing that exercise up. So we're gonna do this 10 times, okay?
And that was pretty much my conditioning day for the last 4 weeks. So just like that skip routine, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then of course, like in the afternoon, well, that was like daily where I played my dog because he'll get like antsy if I don't play with him. And then of course, just like shadow boxing stuff, which could be done daily, but I just primarily did 3 days a week because I was getting like really tired because I was also filming other stuff because I'm a very busy man, but it's all gonna pay off because it is gonna be worth it. And I hope you enjoy it and train that way. So on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or sometimes I would switch them up, you know, do the whole thing around if I want to do it Monday, Wednesday, whatever. It's whatever I was feeling like. I would do my strength and conditioning days. And these days were pretty fun to get on, but like, I gotta say this, like high rep training, it sucks. It burns like a mother effer. Like I will just tell you straight up, like there were so many days where just my arms felt like they were cramping. And of course, what would a Goku routine be without anime Godmakers? And for people who new here don't know, I always call push-ups anime Godmakers on my channel because like every anime character uses push-ups to get like a superhuman level of strength, and it's just like insane. They just body everyone who faces them. So yeah, I did like a variety of Godmakers, but the way I did it was I did these versions right here. Now, doing these type of push-ups again, like just consistently, I really felt the burn like so intensely. Like it was just like, okay, this is a mental thing. This is more of a mental thing. Like I was understanding why Goku is so mentally strong and able to get through things because you have to endure like doing this. Because after a while, it just burns so bad. Like with, in a sense, and I'm not trying to diss it, like bodybuilding feels a bit better because it's just like, okay, I just need to hit like this amount of reps with the time under tension, and it's like strenuous, but I got a rest in between. I'm able to just like go in fresh and then do it. And then it feels good. I got a nice pump. These just felt like agony. I'm just gonna be real. These felt like freaking agony, dudes. And I remember like one of the days I tried to do it with a weight vest because I was just doing like high rep stuff because like remember Goku wore a weighted turtle shell in the original series, but there were certain parts where I was just like, yeah, no, if I do this consistently, I'm just gonna get an overuse injury. So I just decided to go primarily with myself, just using myself for this, and it paid off tremendously. Another thing I've mentioned before is like, all right, so here's a fascinating tidbit. No one in Dragon Ball besides Gohan during a filler scene in the Saiyan saga does pull-ups. They are just like so freaking yoked, but they don't do pull-ups. And you wanna know why they don't do pull-ups? Because they're just always climbing and stuff like that, and then punching and stuff like that. Those are back exercises you can do. So there you go, that's how you build your back in DBZ world apparently. But like, I was shocked, like none of them do like freaking pull-ups like reps at all. Like it's always just like constant pressing stuff, which I guess makes sense because you're trying to push people away from you, but still. So I got these rock climbing pull-up extensions, which I talk about right here. So for the pull-ups, originally I was using these hand grip things. They're like mountain climber things. But then I read online that it was just like, oh, be careful. Some substance on these is like very like poisonous or cause cancer or some shit like that. And I'm just like, why the fuck wouldn't that be like in bold print? I don't want to use something that could potentially F me up like that. I'm dead ass about those freaking pull-up handles. Like, here, let me bring it up. All right, so, warning. This product can expose you to chemicals including styrene, which is known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. For more information, go to www.p65warnings.ca.gov. Why the fuck would that be a thing? Why? I don't want something that's gonna make my freaking spunk turn into the Toxic Avenger. Okay, no, I ain't doing those things. So I cheated. I'm sorry. I was gonna do those pull-ups, so I just switched to rings. Like, I can't go wrong with rings. I'm Lord of the Rings in this bitch, all right? Because I am not gonna do something that's gonna make me pee out freaking Ectocooler, all right? That's not happening. So I just did a really high number of reps with pull-ups. I think pull-ups are just one of the best, most functional exercises anyone can do. And I just highly suggest doing as many as possible. So for my pull-ups, I was just doing the same rep scheme of where I put an insane amount. And remember, that's gonna be different for everyone. Like some people will be like, well, what rep should I do? Like what I highly recommend you do is to take your maximum number of like reps that you can do for any exercise on this list, and then like double that up, and try to get that double in one set. And then like every time you can't, like it's okay to fail. Like it's okay to fail. Like you're just gonna keep going until you get that down. And it's just gonna burn like crazy, but it's gonna be so worth it like in a while. Cause I was like, I noticed that my pull-ups start to skyrocket when I was doing this whole thing. So it was super fun to do this 3 days a week. And it was just very, very painful, but burning painful, the good kind of pain, the stuff that's gonna like pay off pain. So yeah. Crunches, pretty basic. I just got like a dumbbell and put them on my like, you know, feet. I didn't do full sit-ups because like before I've had issues with them in my lower back, just various issues. Even if my form is perfect, I feel like sit-ups just hurt my lower back, so I just don't do them. And something I've learned about growing up is just like, if certain exercises are causing you harm, like if you just like feel like, oh, every time I do this sort of exercise, even my form is perfect, I feel like I'm going to get like injured from it or hurt from it, then just switch it out with something else, all right? Like every body is different and reacts differently. Yeah, trademark, I got shirts down below if you're interested. Yeah, go check out my shirt store. But like, it is, I just don't see the point in doing exercises that you feel like, okay, that's gonna cause me for physical pain. Just like, you know, do something that benefits you in the long run. So like, you know, for example, I have friends who can only do neutral grip pull-ups and stuff like that, where the bar is like, your hands are facing towards each other. As a matter of fact, I only use a neutral grip for like, you know, bench press and shoulder press and stuff like that, because of like my shoulder tear from earlier, which is finally like healed up and I'm able to do stuff with this stuff. So just remember, keep that in mind. That's why I did ring pull-ups, because I don't like doing just, if I do high reps on a standard pull-up bar, I notice that I start to get like inflammation and I'll start to develop either a tennis elbow or a golfer's elbow, which I just had a whole thing in 2018 with that, and I'm not trying to live through that again. So that's why I'm just doing ring pull-ups, because ring pull-ups are just goated. I love ring pull-ups. Now here's the thing, like ever since my shoulder injury, I've been really trying to get back to doing handstand push-ups, but I noticed there is two things wrong. Like first off, this month I had a little like wrist thing, nothing like, oh my God, he messed up his wrist now or something like that. It was just like, I was playing with my dog outside, he tugged too hard and I slipped because the grass was wet, and then like I messed up my wrist for a couple of things, and I was just like, oh, I can't do my handstands as well as I would like. I even say that in one of the videos. So I had to like build back up to doing it. The way I originally did my handstand, like I got it down, I just like constantly just kicked up and tried to hold it and like just did as many attempts as possible. And something, because the handstand is the reason I injured my shoulder in the first place, because back in 2013, that's when I mastered it. I did it on like a wobbly bar and it fell and I cracked my shoulder, and then I just was injured for shoulder exercises for just years and years until I finally was able to fix it in 2017. And then like, you know, other injuries, but mental health and therapy, they all helped out a lot with that. And yeah, it was, it's a mental thing for me right now, because like, I know I can do the handstand push-ups. I know I can get back to it once my wrist like feels strong, but it's just a mental thing of just like, oh, I fell and I cracked my shoulder, so I'm very paranoid about it. So I just opted to do pike push-ups this month. I'm gonna gradually build up to see if I can do like handstand walking and handstand normal stuff again, because it is truly just a thing. Like if you've ever had like an injury where like, you know, it could be like, oh, you jumped off a pool, like a dive board, and you like belly flopped and it stings and you're scared to jump off a diving board now, or you've ever had an injury like that, like because this was just such a hindrancing injury for me, it's a mental thing for me I have to accomplish for myself, that I gotta beat, that I will beat. Like I definitely will. I will make sure I can do this because I want to do it for myself. But another thing I incorporated, which has actually worked wonders for the tendons in my arms, which has helped prevent like any like elbow injuries or stuff like that, is I've been doing a lot of sand digging and just sand playing around. Because here's the thing, Goku constantly, he dug, like he always like digs, like he was digging when he was training with Master Roshi, doing like a whole field. But what I do is I have a bucket of sand and I just digged in it, and I just digged and digged and digged, and I did that Monday to Friday for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I would just do it, and it burns like hell. Like I just like do it like exactly how I'm doing here. And of course the final thing I incorporated was like farmer's walks, which was just to indicate like, you know, Goku walking with the milk and stuff like that. And like I just use various objects. Like some days I use like weighted backpack, some days I use like my weight vest, some days I use like Bob, my freaking punching bag, and then sometimes I use a tire. And it was just like, I like to switch it up just how I was doing it. But it was fun regardless. All I did was 10 sets of 10 there and back. So what I would do is I would walk to an area and I'd walk back holding like this heavy weight. And sometimes I'd wear a weight vest, sometimes I didn't. And every time I did a farmer's walk, I also increased it by 2 each week. So it'd just be like, you know, 10 there and back, 12 there and back, 14 there and back, sometimes 20 there and back, just if I felt like it. And it was tiring, but it paid off. And you know, Goku would always improve himself and always keep challenging himself safely, so that was cool. Doing this like 5 days a week, I was very, very tired. And something I also had to watch out for, which is something that happens a lot, is burning out my central nervous system, where you, if you don't know what that is when you overtax your central nervous system. When you do a ton of strength training exercises, you may overtax it to a point where you are overtrained, and then like there are certain things where you are irritable, you can't sleep at night, you get really hot at night, and your body just feels off, or you'll feel like tired, more tired than usual. And so I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing that. So the first couple weeks of each exercise, I tried to go like moderate, like to build my body into it. Like it wasn't like me just doing the thing just to do it, I was building up into it. But yeah, this whole workout, and like I know some people are like, well, didn't you train legs? Like, dude, I skipped all this hours, I did farmer's walks, I did all this other stuff. It was, I overtrained my legs. My legs are super diesel now, like they're even more diesel than before, and it's like, wow, I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, that's how it goes. It was fun training for this month. And then in addition to that, I also walked 1 hour each day, so like my cardio is really great. So I would say this month though, I did notice that like my fat loss sort of started to plateau a bit, because I guess I was just like overdoing it, and also I was eating the maintenance calories. But I started noticing physical results, like in stuff I was able to accomplish myself. It wasn't more like aesthetic, it was more like physical things of like, oh, I'm noticing that. Next month though, when we get into gravity training and doing stuff with the weight vest and doing all that, and then it's gonna be, here's a little spoiler for you, Vegeta's gonna be a part of that too, so you're gonna have a Goku Vegeta Tough Like Toonz combo next month. It's gonna be super fun to do, but it's just gonna be like, I expect to see a lot of like physical result changes with that. Like this one, I did get physical results, but I'm saving them because I wanna just have like a cool little time lapse of stuff when I do it, because I've been taking like pictures every day, but like it's gonna be so cool. And yeah, like thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's. Remember, the full thing is in the description box below. The full program's right here. You can see it. Be sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe. And thank you all who've been with me this entire way through my mental health issues, through my injuries that I've been going through, just all this other stuff that I've just gone through so much, and all those who stayed with me this entire way. Like, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this workout. Remember, take your time, build up to it. It's very intense. I would say this is probably, I would honestly put this as the hardest Stuff Like the Tunes I did, because it's just so challenging in aspects when you just have to keep going and going and going. But yeah, next month is going to be even more fun, because we'll add the weight vest and all that other stuff. And remember, like for certain areas, like if you don't have like a dog, or you don't have sand, like sand you can get from like any store for like $5. It's really cheap to get sand, and then you just dig in it and just do whatever you want. And then like with the pet chasing, you don't have to chase a pet if you don't need to. You can just add an extra hour to your walking, like, you know, just walk in the morning and walk at night if you need to. And yeah, it's pretty much just like that, but it's just fun. It's just a fun workout routine. I see why Goku is so cheery and optimistic for doing this routine. But remember, like I always say, train hard, do your best, give it all you've got, because you are going to be the main protagonist of your story, and you're that badass character now, and I completely believe in you. And remember, stay safe. Safety is the #1 thing. If you ever feel like you're overtraining, take a break, rest. That is what Goku always encourages you to do. That's what I'm encouraging you to do, because I don't want you to overtrain yourself to a point where you're like in a hospital or hurting yourself, or you got an overuse injury, because that's going to do no good. So remember, steadily build up. Steadily build up. Do not rush into things. Steadily. Check that ego in at the door. Like, don't be like Vegeta. All right, that's perfect. That's why Goku's always above Vegeta. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this premiere. And remember, like I always say, keep calm, booyah on. Don't forget, Momentai. Now, go through with today's workout. Oh!